Hey guys, okay, so what's up? So what I've done off camera, because I wasn't sure what was happening, finally fitted those axles that I got, the new ones, well, the new old ones for me. And as it turns out, in other words, they're too tight. See here, especially this one. This one's way too tight. So I can't really use these axles. I'll need to use them for another application. Yeah, we don't see it on this side because of the wheel well. But as you can see, this is one of the new ones that I tried, for the ones I ordered. And we see we have a good gap. We have about like 3 inches or so, like give or take, on each side, which means they're gonna fit. So what I got to do now is, since they were bare like that, I got to take the hubs off. This is one of the bent axles, as you can see. Just slight bent to the right there. So I know that this wheel hub is good, so I'll use this one on the new axles right there. I'll take this one off, but I'm not sure if it's good to use, because I think it's, yeah, that's the one that got the impact, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's pretty smashed up. We'll see if even comes off, and if it's, yeah, it seems pretty crooked. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to use that one. Well, yeah, I think I'll still take it off. Otherwise, if this one doesn't work, I'll take one of those hubs. Sorry for that. I'll take one of those hubs off and install it on the new axle. So yeah, that's the game plan for tonight, and try to pull this out. That'd be nice. Okay, let's get doing. Okay guys, okay, so after taking this off, it's always good, you see, like, even though this seal here, which is same as this one right there, even though it looks good, we see it, there's a bit of grease that leaked out. It's always good to just, like, while you're there, just to change it. So I'm going to be changing this right there. I don't have the tool here, so what I'm using is just the backside of a hammer. It works perfectly for that. Just make sure that your hammer or the tool you're using is clean, because you don't want to have any dirt that's going to fall in there and like run with the bearing when you'll put it back all together. Just clean up all the old grease and put the new seal back in, and then we're ready to throw that part of it back together. So the grease you want to use is wheel bearing grease, because that's what's made for it to grease bearings. Otherwise it won't last and your bearings may go out early. So using this, you know that they're gonna go for a while. So I don't have a bearing greaser, but obviously, like, the grease is already embedded within the bearing, so I just want to put some new grease. Like, it will mix with the old, but the old grease isn't bad. Just refreshing a bit the grease, and when I'll be greasing up the whole axles, like, they'll get the new grease anyways. Okay, now for the seal. You always want to put it in, slide it in equally, so you whether want to have something that's big enough to to hit the surrounding of this. You can always like tap it around easily, but usually like when you do that, like it's gonna pop out on one side, and then you'll have to start over anyways, or you may like tweak it and it won't fit in perfectly and it's gonna leak. So it's always good to just slip it in like this, and take anything you have on your hands like that's flat, and that's gonna help you like hit that down. I'm gonna use the axle stand just like that. Well, you want to have it flush like that. Good thing to do always, like a lot of people don't do that, is put some grease inside here. Because if you don't and your axle shaft is not greased up, pretty much the rubber will melt a bit and it's gonna leak grease, and you know you'll have done that for nothing. So just put a bit of grease in there and help it slide in the first times. Sweet. So that's done. You see, guys, this was the issue I was running into, because like the hub assembly was like touching really badly the trailer. Like, see here I had a space, but here it was really too tight. And the same thing on the other side. You know, obviously they're centered, so if you can see that. You see I can't even put my finger in there. Yeah, same thing here. So yeah, I'm gonna put these down and we'll switch them. Okay, so as you can see, I was able to remove all the axles from there, both axles. And there's one thing I didn't cover with you guys, if maybe you guys would like to know that, is how to install those here. So obviously you got to center those on the main frames on the sides. But what's like the distance? So these axles are 3500 axles, and it may vary depending on the axles you have because of the length of the I don't remember how you call them, but the suspension, let's say. So yeah. So what you want to do is like center to center, bolt hole to bolt hole. Is you want to have a distance of 29.5 inches, so 29.5 between all center points, so that to fit 3,500 axles, 3,500 pound axles on there. So for me, like these three mounts here are the same width of 3 inches. So in doing so, I installed, obviously, like you gotta find your center. Well, not your center, but like your where you want your axles to be in order to have your accurate weight distribution on the axles when you're loading. So when you have found that and you know where you want your axles, you install your first one, and from this one you can just calculate from the front to the front of this one, and then do your mark, and same thing from this one to the third one right here. And this will center all your bolts at 29.5. And after that, well, you just gotta weld them. So as for me, I was only able to attack them because for some reason I'm having issues with the breaker here. So for the moment, they're only going to be tacked, but I'll change garage and I'll be able to fully weld them, even though I'll install the new axles on. So yeah, now what I'm going to do is, since I was missing one wheel hub, I'll take this one here because I feel is the best of all four, and I'll switch them to my other axle. One thing you may want to know, like depending on the width of your trailer, is where to mount your suspension. Well, for me here, I was able to measure that the distance between the axle stands here is 71 5/8, just there. And I want to keep that same distance with my new axles. So I'll just take the complete length minus that and divide it by 2, and it's going to give me the amount I need here. Obviously I need to subtract the width of the suspension support right there. So yeah, let's get started with that and get the new axles on the way.